All right, welcome to A Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get into next, and it's happening right now because if I don't film it now, it's not happening. I'm too tired. It's been a really long week. I'm really tired. I hate when I start the week off with insomnia. And Sundays are always the day I'm most likely to have sleep problems, and it's very frustrating. But it's okay. Making it through. Today was my last day of teaching for the week, so at least in terms of you have to wake up stuff, I don't have that for the rest of the week. And I'm pretty prepped for next week, which is pretty cool. But that said, I'm really tired. And I am going to see the doctor again tomorrow about my skin on my lip. It is doing better, but we had a weird flare up this morning. And it's no, I just want to be healthy, especially because this weekend's going to be bad. I know. It is one of those rare moments where I know something bad's coming and I can't stop it and I can't make it not happen. So there's just this weird anticipation. It's not completely dissimilar to when you know you'll soon be having to say goodbye to a loved one. But it doesn't have to do with death or anything like that. But it's that type of grief, but that anticipatory grief. So not loving that. But in terms of reading, I've been doing pretty good. And also science fiction wise, been playing Horizon again. So the escapism's escaping. We're doing that. But yeah, and if I had had energy, I would have finished one of these books. So I would be I have 3 books to talk to you about that I finished. But instead it's 2 and one that I've almost finished. And I have a DNF. And it's this month of science fiction, which I didn't know that's what I was going to do. But here we are. It's the month of science fiction. And I'm not mad about it because I like reading science fiction. It brings me joy. So let's start with some stuff that I finished. We'll start with one that I don't have a physical book of because otherwise I might forget it. So this is Brothers in Arms. Bejeweled. I read this at the tail end of last month, beginning of this month. I finished it in July, so that's why it's here. And I liked it. It was fun, just like all of them. They're just a good time. Miles is getting in trouble. Miles is a whole part of miscommunication. Or overly communicating and having to accept when people are nah, I'm good. Yeah, and I think this is going to be the problems that came up in this book. I have a feeling are going to continue in the next book. I'm being vague because I don't want to spoil anything, but the title makes complete sense. And actually, I feel Miles is the most outwardly vulnerable for me in this one. Because most of the time, you're not in his head, but as close as you get to his head as you are, he's pretty much just lets everything wash over him, and he's always tactical. He's always adjusting. He's always curious. But you also know that underneath that, there's this current of him wanting to prove himself. There's this whole thing where he loves being Bar Yaren, but Bar Yara doesn't love him. But he's also Baden, and he does he's just he's my favorite type of character, a character with feet in 2 worlds. And that really also comes to a head in this book, the duality of Miles and also his mental health. And I just think that was just kind of nice to see because I've been traveling with him for a while and we've had glimpses of his darker moments. And it's not that he gets dark here, but you definitely see inklings of his internal struggles. So I thought that was cool. So yeah, a good time. And then I also finished The Will to Battle, guys. I did it. I finished this. Oh, I actually did finish 3 things. I have to talk about another thing that I don't have in my stack and I almost forgot. But The Will to Battle, I finished. I finished it on the 4th of July because America is struggling. I mean, it's been struggling, but every year I wonder what decision the Supreme Court will pass that will frustrate me more. And it's just, I don't know how they keep one-upping it. And then let's not even discuss our general election. That's going to be a time. So I wanted to read about a different government system that was going into chaos. And that's what I did with The Will to Battle. This is the 3rd book in Terra Ignota. I've been talking about it all year. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Angela. I love this series right now. It's just a very fun. It's a very evocative thought experiment about a future world, the government system they developed, and we're on the precipice of it needing to go through another reworking or change because even though it's as close to utopian as we've ever gotten, it still has flaws that lead to war. And this is the book where we're war on horizon. What's going to be the thing that starts war? And it's very similar to if you've been watching House of the Dragon, where you're war is going to break out, but it's not clean when it does. What's going to be the first thing? What are the things that build up and lead to it? Where's the point of no return? So The Will to Battle is about that point of no return. And I just have one more book. So yeah, that was good because this has been on many a TBR, and I just finally, I got the audiobook, I sat down, and I put in some time. And part of the problem is just some chapters are beastly. They are long. And the audiobook immersion reading it did help. I had to immersion read this. I never read this with just my ears. So then the other one I finished that I forgot that I finished because it's not in my stack, and I read it very quickly, was 7 Days of June, which, if your definition of a romance is it ends happily ever after and it's the primary focus of the plot, it's a romance. I know it's a big point of controversy. And honestly, if you don't think of it as romance, that's fine. I'm really not here to fight about it. Like, I'm more just saying, if your definition of a romance is X, which is happily ever after, and romance is the plot, that's what this is. But I do see how, especially the first 50 pages, it's not, the beginning of it doesn't feel like you're going to be reading a romance. You spend a lot of time with our main character and a lot of time not thinking about relationships whatsoever. It almost feels like a general fiction book at the beginning. But then once you're introduced to the hero and once we're like in that 50-page mark, it felt like a contemporary romance to me. I read it at the same pace I read contemporary romances. It had the heaviness. It was definitely more tactfully handled maybe than an Abby Jimenez, even though Abby Jimenez handles her heavy stuff well, but hers is more like rom-com-y. I wouldn't say this was a rom-com. It's a heavier romance. Both of our hero and heroine and whatever the words are that people use in romance, like they both came from a very troubled childhood. That's where they met. And they had 1 week together then, and then they never met again. And as adults, they're meeting both as writers who like keep writing about each other in their books. And it's about second chances, and it's about, you know, how you deal with your demons even after you've sort of worked through them most of the way, but they're never completely gone. And a lot of content warnings for self-harm, for drug abuse, for alcohol abuse. It's about, you know, that type of stuff. I really liked it. I get why it's hyped. I do. It was very easy to read. It was very compelling. It stressed me out because, and this is why I brought up, you know, that it is a romance. I didn't know if it would be because so many people debate it. And so at the end, I was like, are we not getting the happily ever after? I was like very nervous, which I get that way in all romances, but I know I'm just kidding myself and it'll be okay. This time I was like, I'll be okay, I guess, if it's not, but I really hope it is. And it's just like, it's very stressful, which is not always what you're going for when you're trying to read a romance. So I don't know. I liked 7 Days in June. It was a good time. It had so many lovely moments, like the reunion scene. So in A Second Chance, right? Like when they meet together as adults for the first time. Spectacular. It was so good. And I love that we got in both of their heads, and it was a good time. So those are 3 things I finished. The thing I'm almost done with is Prime Deceptions. I have like that much left. Literally like 20 minutes left. Not even really. Like maybe 30 minutes. But again, if I lay on the couch and I have to finish reading this, I'm not filming this video. It's not happening. This is very fun. At first I was like, I don't know, am I feeling this? It's kind of just like, whatever, like, do I care? I do a little bit. Like, it's not going to be more than 4 stars. But it's still a quality time. It's cozy. I feel really dumb. It took me way too long reading this book before I realized, oh, those things are meant to be like Pokemon. So when this book got good is when we're finally like on this one planet, and this planet has a lot of psychic connections, and someone can have a psychic tether to this other type of creature. And there are these machines that are made based off those creatures, and they can basically condense down into the size of a ball, and they sometimes fight each other. And I just didn't realize it was Pokemon. And that's just what this series can do sometimes. Like, it's its own thing, and like that's like its own world building, its own cause and effect, to the point where like, unless I'm really trying to connect dots, I will miss it. That's just who I am. But it is just funny to be like, oh, you just took that concept, but everything is much bigger. I really like that the first book, we were dealing with the Ava and her sister, and a little bit her dad. And then this one, we're dealing with Ava and her mom in, I think, very interesting ways. I like the dynamics of the team. It just reads really easy. So I'm enjoying it. And Mala, the kitty cat, she is way more involved. If you ever wanted a sci-fi book with an animal companion, this one. The first one, not so much. You read Chilling Effect, it's not going to scratch that itch. But this one, Mala, is like scene stealer. I see Donna in every scene that Mala is in. I'm just like, this is so cute. Oh, that's such a cat. Like, it's great. It's absolutely great. So that's been fun. And then what I've decided, I'm pretty sure what I'm going to keep doing until I've run out of mental health or energy, is I'm continuing a vlog for my patrons where I'm reading books that should explode if I haven't read them by the end of the year. So the next one I might pick up, because I have the audiobook for it, is August Kiko and the Mechas from Space. It's another sci-fi, because like I said, apparently this is the month of science fiction for me. This is about an opera at the end of the world or the universe, and then it doesn't end, and there are mechs. And if you don't know, I love mechs. I haven't found a book that encapsulates my love of mechs like Pacific Rim. So I love music. I'm hoping I like this. And I think the second book's out. So it's called The Star Metal Symphony. And it's just like a truly like bright cover, aggressively so, to the point where like I don't like pink, but I bought it because it's just like woof. So yeah, I'm hoping I like this. I don't know much about it. The robots are coming to kill us. That's the first line of the synopsis. So I think this is what I'll read next, which oddly enough, this is shorter than this. But you wouldn't tell from that because Orbit's paperback pages, they thick. They got some poundage, which I don't mind. I don't mind a nice pounded page. And then my next one that I would try is my sci-fi thriller, We Have Always Been Here, which is a sci-fi thriller. I haven't looked at nothing else other than that. That it just seems stressful. Kind of like Alien. I got Alien vibes when I was looking at the synopsis for this way back then. And both of these will get the hard DNF treatment if I'm not caring, especially because I don't got time for that emotionally, physically. No, just don't. And depending on how those go, if like I end up hard DVing up both of them, I might go to the third book in this, which is Fault Tolerance, that I have over here on my shelf, just because this has been fun. This has been a really good time. I like this a lot more than the standalone I read from her earlier this year, which is When Peace is Lost. I just think that the main character of this is funnier. I mean, I could see people not liking her. She's a little bit, I don't know. She just like swears a lot, and I just know some people don't like when characters swear a lot. But she doesn't swear in English. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. But that is the Friday reads. Been playing Horizon Forbidden West, which has been fun. We finally caught up on The Bear, which I liked. It was very indulgent. But, like, that was also the point. I can't decide if I respect and like it or just respect. Regardless, it was a good time. And then House of the Dragon's been just like, whoa. It's been just whoa. Like, whoa. So that's what I've been watching. I still need to watch the new animated Superman show because I've been behind on that. But we're behind on everything. We have a watch list that is just, like, way too long. And I might even derail from that and go watch My Lady Jane. Is that on Prime? I've heard some wacky things about that. I'm just like, oh, maybe I should try and see if I like it, because, you know, why not? Let me know what you're reading, doing, or watching this weekend. And if you just want to leave an emoji, just let me know you're here. Leave a cat for Mala because she's adorable. She's a psychic cat, too, if you didn't know that. She emits energy. She is cool. Anyways, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.